Hi everybody, welcome back to my model bench today. It's been a couple of days since I've worked on anything on here. That's because things have been a bit up and down. I haven't actually had the chance to really sort of get on and do anything. And what I did have to do was a little bit mundane. So basically I just gave the horse I was doing a second coat of base coats, so that's all nice and painted up now, ready for detailing. Now I'm waiting on some airbrush paints to come in for that, so because I'm going to try airbrush painting the details on that one, so that should be fun. Watch as I fuck that up. Then I had a bit of an issue with my 3D printer. Now this is a good piece of advice for everybody that was thinking about getting a 3D printer. I screwed up cleaning it up, but not completely. The instructions don't give you a very good idea of how to clean it properly. You're supposed to. What was happening is as I was printing out my print, I could hear the 3D, the actual resin itself that was that had been printed, sort of like sticking to the bottom of the resin vat, and that is just like a thin sheet of transparent plastic, and I could hear it sticking to it and pulling it with it. So every time the build base moved up, occasionally it would just stick to the printed resin would stick to the bottom of the vat and pull the print off, or parts of the print off. So it kept failing. It like failed 2 or 3 times, and I just couldn't work out what it was. I thought it was a leveling, so I leveled it 3 or 4 times. That still didn't work. I tried to give it a good clean, that wouldn't work. So in the end, I sort of I'd done some research and found out that the reason it was sticking is because that plastic is PTFE coated, and after a while, the PTFE coat sort of comes off, and you have to recoat it with silicone PTFE sort of lubricant. To stop the print sticking to the bottom of the vat, which I hadn't known. It didn't tell me to do that, and as I said, these things only come from learning. And so what happened, it left a kind of a foggy residue area on the bottom of the vat. So what I looked into was that you can get some silicone PTFE spray that whenever you clean it out, you should probably give it a coat of that as well to keep it sticking, which again I wasn't aware of. And you should only clean it with microfiber cloths. So you can get these big microfiber cloths, you just cut a bit off and you clean it with that and alcohol, and then that'll stop. If you clean it with tissue like I was doing, it sort of fogs up because the tissue like slightly scratches it and it pulls off the PTFE and stuff. And that's how I ended up in a situation where my prints were failing, which also meant that the residue of the prints as it was failing was sticking to the bottom of the vat. So when I took the prints out and dried out and emptied out and filtered out all the resin, I was left with a glump stuck to the bottom of the vat. So I was trying to get it off with my fingers because I know that plastic is very thin. But it wouldn't come off, so you have to tease it off with the scraper. As it happened, it thinned out the bottom, and I put a hole in it, just a little one, but that was that. But that wasn't too bad because I'd done that this morning, because before then I'd realised that I'd screwed up the cleaning of it, or rather, well, yeah, I had screwed up. Let's just put it that way. I'm not going to candy coat it. I'd screwed it up. So I ordered some new plastic for the bottom of it's called bottom of the FEP. It's called FEP, F-E-P. And watched a video on how to replace it. And I thought I had to go and buy an entirely new vat. And I was like, Christ, they're like $60. And instead, I could get like 2 or 3 sheets of this plastic and replace it myself. So I also ordered that yesterday, as well as the silicone spray. The cleaning materials came, like the you could use glass cleaner on it as well. So all that lot came, and I'm just waiting for the new plastic for the bottom of the FEP to come in, and that's not as expensive by any means. It's like 10 quid for 2, so I ordered 4. So I've got 4 coming. It's just a consumable, and reading up on what was that, it's like it's not uncommon to have to change those things. The fact that I wasn't coating the plastic with PTFE silicone spray after cleaning was probably why it didn't last that long. But it's not uncommon to have to replace them every so often. So I don't feel as though I've completely screwed up. I'm just like, this is just kind of a learning exercise, and it wasn't super expensive. So if you do get one of those 3D printers, make sure you use microfiber cloths to clean out the vat, and also make sure you spray the vat with silicone PTFE every once in a while to make sure that the prints don't stick to the bottom of it and ruin it. That's about it, really. I had been doing a lot of printing, so it's no wonder that it had done that, but hopefully next time I can start looking after it just a little bit better now that I know what I'm doing. Anyway, that was what happened the last couple of days with my 3D printer. It's a learning curve. Yesterday I wasn't able to do anything on here because schedules were not met properly, and it got quite late by the time everything had been done. So I had to kind of just revert to the gaming. But today, we're going to be doing this little beauty, or starting it at least. What we're going to, I put in the description that we're going to be opening the box. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be opening the box. Now what that means is, this is what I usually do when I start off with a model. Let me flip you over to the main model bench camera. Right, so let me just adjust the camera here for you. No, bring it up a bit more like that. There we go. Alright, so what I usually do, this is what we're going to build. The Shelby Mustang GT350 H edition. Now I've read all about it, what I was showing you, what I had to do before, so there's no need to read the gump that comes with it. Alright, so anything else in there? No. Right, so here are there's the decals. Pretty straightforward set of decals. Okay, so I'm going to try and keep it with the paper over the top. And I'm going to wrap it up in this safety advice leaflet so that it doesn't get ruined. And I put that back in the box until we need it. Alright, so now we've got the instructions and this big old bag of plastic bits. Okay, I'll put the plastic bits to one side for now. Because I don't do these in order. I mean, you can, but it gets difficult when it comes to painting. So, like, you can just follow the steps one after the other and just carry on. But it takes a little while. It becomes a bit of a pain in the ass when you're actually trying to paint these parts. So the first things first to do is actually look at what paints we need. Now I've got a few of these paints. I had a few come on order. I had a metallic black come in. Even though the bodywork says it's just, what colour does it say? It's just gloss black. I wanted to give it a little bit extra, so I bought a metallic black. A small pot of metallic black, so that should look pretty good on there with the gold decals, so that's not too much of a problem. It's just going to give it that little bit of extra shine, a little bit extra awesomeness. Right, so what I need to do here now is I need to go through some of these paints here because I don't think I've got them all. So I need a black silky matte. I do have blacks, but I don't know if I have silky mattes. And this is where this whiteboard comes in handy. I got a matte grey, yeah, steel metallic. Steel metallic, I don't think I've got that. And a blue gloss. Gold metallic. Got a black gloss, got a red gloss. Brown silky matte. Got orange clear, got red clear, and a white silky matte. Now, probably what I've got will work already, so that's fine. I've got a few more bits and pieces on order that I need to order to do this anyway, so it's not going to be a problem to be able to just order those up. They only take a couple of days to come in anyway. We're not going to be getting around to doing that much painting. So what we need to do now is we need to get out my tools. So first of all, I need... I thought the phone was ringing then. Alright, we need the clippers. Scalpel. Now, is that a brand new blade? No, it looks like it's been used, so we'll stick a brand new blade in there as well. Right, let's get some glue. Get some glue. Masking tape to put the glue on. Which one of these glues is open? I'll find the right glue. Ah, yeah, there we go. Glue, it's just normal super glue right now. Right. Now the other thing we'll be doing is we will be mounting all these up ready to be sprayed. Now that means I'm going to need sticky labels, pen that works, yep, that one works, and a whole bunch, if I can find them. Where are you, you bad boys? I know you're all in here somewhere. Yeah, I really need to find a better way to store these. Oh, we've got some new ones. Alright, we'll use some new ones. Clips. We're probably going to need some more of those, but they're in there somewhere. I'm going to have to I'd have to get a little box to put all those in, because they just linger around. So some parts I'm going to be gluing together today, some parts I'm not going to be gluing together today, but I am going to be weeding them out. And what we do is I take the piece off the plastic, clean it up, find a place where the paint's not necessarily going to make any difference, fit it in there, label it up so I know what part it is, and then I have this stuff which is Flower Rangers Oasis, and that just, then you just stick it in there, and that you can hold it for you can hold the part nicely in there for when you spray it up. And that's basically all we're going to be doing today. We're going to be looking at the parts, what parts I can actually glue together and what parts I actually need to just weed out of the holders. So first of all, let's change the blade in my scalpel. Super easy. If you don't know how to change a scalpel blade by now, what are you doing on this channel? Yeah, just be careful, because those things are damn sharp and you can cut yourself without even realizing it. They're surgeon's scalpels. So then what I usually do is I grab some masking tape like this, just wrap it up. Oh god, that's on there. Yep, getting into a mess already. Just sort of wrap it up so it can't come undone and it can't come loose, and then just sort of screw it up like that and chuck it in the bin. Well, around the bin, as in my case, that would work. It does the job. Right, so first of all, let me get a bit of this out. Now, if any of you know better ways of doing this, or you see why am I doing that, please let me know, and please ask, you know, whatever's going on, and I'll try to answer your question. But this is how I've come to do these things. I say generally, these are just, the instructions are guides. They tell me where parts go, but they don't tell me what order they need to be in. Generally they do, but a lot of the time if I'm trying to paint things up and build, then they don't tell me what order I should be doing things. Right, here's the chrome. Typical plasticky kind of chrome. I'll shoot that. Right, that's some of the engine parts that we're going to need. Interior parts. Okay. Right, let's just put these over here so I can have these easy access to the spools, sprigs, or sprues, or can't words today. Can't words. Right. Alright, so an 83 and an 84. Where the hell are you guys? Doesn't even say what. Oh, they're on. Nope, that's in the 30s when you go a bit more this way. Okay. No. Am I missing a screw? Wait, what? And that's half the battle, is trying to find the damn pieces. I'm not missing a sprue here, am I? Oh, they're chrome. Ah, they're chrome. That'll be why then. Instantly getting off on the chrome. Now, this chrome stuff is, well, it's shiny, but it's plasticky. You can tell it's kind of plastic. A lot of people just use chrome as it is because you can't get a decent chrome. I found one, but it's freaking expensive for what you've got. But it just looks too plasticky, so I'd rather spray it and paint it with a chrome. Right, so we need 83 and 84. 83. Oh, where are you, 83? Where's 84? Let's take out 84. Okay. Oh, the other thing we need. No, they're not in there. And they're not in there. God, you would have thought by now I would have known where everything is. Nail files. Emery sticks. Emery boards. Great for cleaning off. The edges. Smoothing down the edges where you cut it from the sprue. There we go. That was nice and clean. Now we got to find number 83. What were you, 83? Were you a chrome piece or not? There's. Oh, is that 83? Yeah, that is 83 right there. My eyes. Damn eyes. Well, I hope everyone's having a good morning so far. Well, it's morning over here well, it's afternoon over here in the UK. It's, I said it's morning. It's 4:45, so perfect time. Like I say, this one's going to be a bit of a short one today, or either just a mundane one. So, but I thought I wanted to get something out to you guys. That's, you know, it's been a few days, so I thought I'd put something out. Okay, so what this says is this part slots into this part. Is it which way round? Nope. Alright, so which way round are you going to go, you little bugger? Ah, I see why. Bit of offshoot from the mould. Alright. I'm going to see if it fits in first. Is that the right way around? Seem to want to go in that way. Oh, it's in now. That is right. That is right. Okay, good. Just using a cocktail stick on the glue because it's just easier than squirting a whole bunch of glue in there. There we go. And that should stick there pretty soon. Okay, well, this piece is going to be chrome because there's no actual detail on here as to what color it should be, so it's going to be chrome. So what we do now is we make a label for that. Like I say, this is just going to be cleaning parts, making labels. I usually do this sort of thing while I'm just watching TV. 83 and 84. All fingers and thumbs today. Jeez. 84. Right. Now there's a part there we could just clamp onto. That's ready for priming. And then you just stick it in there like that. Doesn't have to go all the way in. And yay, that's the first part done. Right, number 2. Now these are all different colours by the looks of it. But let's have a look to see what they are. Right, so we've got a 31 as a chrome. Right, 33 doesn't look as though it's a chrome. Nor does 30. So that part is a chrome. So where is number 30? No. Here we go, number 30. Now I'm guessing the part that goes onto it is the distributor cap. And what I've also going to be ordering, you can get, is scale cables. For like cables from the starter motor into the distributor cap and all that kind of stuff, and then onto the spark plugs. which obviously the model doesn't actually come with itself. So that's a level of detail I haven't tried before, because this is an open engine. Alright, so what's that? Is that the one? 33. Yeah, okay. Gotta be careful. Remember, when you're snipping with your snips, always hold on to the part you want to keep. Because these things have a tendency to go pew into the void, and you'll never find them again. So as long as you're holding on to the part that you want to keep, especially if they're small parts, you should be alright. Right. Oh, super glue sticking to my fingers already. Yay! It's always fun. Okay, now I'm not going to glue the G on there because that's chrome and that needs to be done separately. So let's see if we can clamp onto this little nub. Great. It's that 32 and 30. Now the reason that I want to paint the chrome stuff all separate, no, let's do it with a brush. Let's paint with a brush, so we can put it on there. G31, that is chrome. Because a lot of the time I use the airbrush to paint parts, but if they get this small, you don't really need to. You know, it's not really worth it. Right. Which way round do you go, sunshine? Okay. I don't know if you can see it all very well. I have got a better camera on order. It's the same camera as I used for the face cam here. It's a Logitech, so I don't know if it's going to be able to focus better, but we'll have to see. A little bugger. They're nice and straight. Perfect. Now I'm just going to name that 2 with a circle around it, because that is step number 2. That's the entirety of step number 2 right there. Which maybe is how I should have named the first one. That's probably what I'd do. I'll probably rename that step. That'll be alright. It'll be alright. As long as you label it so that you know what it is. Because the last thing you want to be doing is going back through the instructions going, what the hell is that part? Where the hell's that? Oh, let's just make sure it's on there properly. Right, there's another part done, and that goes sticking in my. So now we have 2 parts on there ready to paint, ready to prime at least. Right, well, part number 3 is actually a culmination of parts 1, 2, and extra bits. So let's just do the extra bits, and that is gearbox. Clean that off. Okay, right now let's put these together. Okay, these don't necessarily fit together perfectly, so we're going to have a little bit of fun with these. Great, more glue on my fingers. Ow. Right, let's give that a minute to dry. Alright, now I think the only side that's really going to be visible in this, the only connection that's really going to be visible in this is probably this bit at the top here. So, this bit here, this seam here, and the underside if I mirror the display board, which I'm going to want to do, which I usually do. I hate seeing seams, so let's just write the label for that one at least. That is 2526. Okay. Right. That's that. Right. Now, let's just follow down there. Well, that should fit in there nicely. Right, now this nail file is a little bit too, this emery board is a little bit too thick, so I've got a couple of others in here. Should be able to help me out. There's Right, that joint's nice and smooth. Now we'll work on the underside. A little bit more. Yep. Now you could get some filler model filler like I was using on the horse and fill in the seams, but for this kind of part that is going to be hidden underneath, I honestly think that that's more work than you need to be doing. If you're doing a model aircraft, a fuselage comes in 2 parts, and yeah, it's worth filling those and making sure those are perfectly smooth, because that is absolutely perfectly visible. So you want to get that right. But these, you could just, I think you could just file these down. A couple of coats of primer, a couple of coats of dark paint, chrome or whatever is going on them. I don't think you'll even notice. Right, that's that. Now, okay, so what's happening here? If it goes underneath, that's right. So, hey, is that the top? Is that the top? Well, that's actually the top. I thought the engine was going to sit on there, but apparently not. Now, it's worth checking when these things... Oh, I see, and then the chrome bit goes in the bottom there. And then it all fits under here. Okay, alright, that's not a problem. Yeah. So what we're going to do, we haven't actually got a part on here that we could... or do we? Yes, let's have a look. That'll do. Right, so this is parts. Oh, it's 25 and 26. This is the one I just ripped off. I told you my brain is scatty today. 25 and 26. My brain is all kinds of scatty today. Could probably have done with another couple of hours sleep. But I got a delivery through today of airbrush cleaner. So I'm like, thank you very much. I don't mind being woken up when that kind of delivery comes through. Right, so that can now go on my little collection. Now in those in these sections here, I generally tend to not put more than 9 pieces. So it's something this size and parts generally that size. I could do like 8 pieces would be ideal. So forget the middle one. You just have go around the outside, and then when you pick them up and they're wet from paint, you're not smudging the paint, and you're not getting the paint all over your fingers. So, okay, I think it's time for a quick puff. Right. That part is F and that part is B, so these... Ah, right, okay. I could do those with a brush. No problem. Right, so it looks as though these parts are chrome as well. Won't be a problem. Now this is part 81, so we're doing the right hand side right now. That's actually a really nice part. I don't know if you could see that. It's rocker hat. Oh, see, I can never remember the part. Again, my brain is just. But it's got Cobra imprinted on it. That's really nice. Cobra powered by Ford. That looks real nice. That might have to be painted red. I have to check that out. Right, use some online references and see. Alright, 29 is obviously not a chrome part because it's painted blue. And it's this part here. Excuse me, I had to have a little bit of a sneeze. Dust is getting on my nose. Right. Right, now which way do you go? Okay. Nobules at the bottom. Okay, I think we could do that. And this goes on like this. That's nice. Now that's going to be not too bad to paint actually by brush. That's going to be right. But what we do have now, we have a problem. We don't actually have the ability to be able to clamp onto that with anything. So I'm going to try this. Why am I using that for? I can just use this. Find an area where it's not going to be seen. And we'll put a little stick in there. What that means is, when that's dry, I can use that as a clamping point, and then when I finish painting it and it comes to fix it, I can just snap that bit of wood off. It's just a little bit of glue, it's not going to make a difference, and then I can be able to stick that in. So that is part number 29 and 81. 29 and 81. Perfect. Okay, next part. I mean, I hope you can all see what's going on. I mean, I got to get another camera. Other cameras coming in soon, but I don't think that's going to like really make a whole lot of difference, especially on some of these smaller parts. It would just mean that when I zoom in, it will zoom in properly, focus properly. So at the moment, you can't really see that, which is a pain. So I'm sure people are coming in going, "I can't see what he's doing. I'm out," you know. That's fair. That is fair. Okay, so this is the other part, and I guess that works exactly the same way.
why wouldn't it? It's just a mirror image. And boop. Boopy boopy boop. Again with the sticky bit for the clamp. Now a lot of people will say, well, why don't you just put it all together and paint it afterwards? And no, that's fair. A lot of people do. They paint it with brushes. I'm like, that's all well and good, but there will be parts that you won't be able to reach. And I like to make sure that my parts are all nicely painted. Like I like to use the airbrush as much as possible. Gives a much better coat and a much better finish. That's 29. The only problem is with that, of course, you end up having to do a lot of this sort of thing, and you don't seem to get anywhere fast. That's okay. I'm not in the mood for rushing. This has got to be done properly. This is going to be. It's going to be. Someone at Hertz is interested in seeing how I do. Yeah, my friend. Right, so that's stage 2 done. Right, now apparently if we look on this, we've got another part which needs to be put onto the engine, and it looks like it's the fuel filter, or oil filter, sorry. Now I can find that part. 23, where are you, you little sumbitch? I might just put that straight on there as well. Where is number 23? Anyone any ideas? Oh, number 23 is not a chrome one, is it? 37. No, so we need number 23. Where are you, number 20? Oh, we will be needing this one in a minute. Number 36. So remember there where that one is. I've got to find number 23. It's 12. Ah, here we are, 23 at the top here by the right. Again, I do know what these parts are called. Generally. I mean, I'm no car expert, but I do know what these parts are called. Yet my brain's saying, not today you don't. I'm like, what the fuck, man? I was like, oh, it's up there next to the thingy. Like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about, do you? No, I do, honest. Okay, so right, that glue's dried out. So another bit on there. Carrying on. Right, and it goes with the top, that bit facing up, like that. Perfect. And now the chrome bit will fit underneath on there. Right, and now when you say number 36, which is here, I just need to tidy that up a bit. Now, Ah, there we go. That fits on with that bit facing down. Okay, so that's easy enough. Perfect. Okay, where is that little nobule I was using? There we go. There. Oh, now it's got a bit too heavy. No, that's fine. Right, done. Right, part number 5, bit number 5. Ah, a bit of a puff. Right. We need number 34, which is the fan belt arrangement. See, I knew what that part was. Someone will get in my comments box. So actually, that was the timing belt. I'll be like, fuck. The one part I knew. No, I believe this is the fan belt. Okay, because there's a fan right there. Let's see. That was my guess. Okay, so now we've got to make sure this goes around the right way. Okay. Right, so I'm going to put that like that and look for the fan. Where are you, my little fan? I'm trying to find fans. I don't have many of those. Alright, what have we got? Ah, here we are. Now it looks like most of this engine block is painted blue, gloss blue, which is going to be awesome. Looking at the actual box art, it actually looks really good. So, oh god, I can't wait. Right, now the fan goes in here, like so. Boop. Let's put it on a little bit of an angle. Just for gigs. Right, now we need part number 37. Wow, God knows what that actually is. It's a round bit. Maybe an alternator. I don't fucking know. What do I know about cars? I could drive. That's about it. What am I looking for? 37. There's 12. Ah, come on, where are you? 37. 37. No, that's all interior, so that's not there. It's 94, that's a Speedo. It's going to be on here, isn't it? It's going to be chrome part. Yep, there it is, I found it. Yep. Yeah, see, thanks for letting me know. Okay, so that's the chrome part. Let's just file that down. Again, these are all the fiddly bits. Right, now how does that go on? Right, so the little knob goes at the top and the big knob goes at the bottom. Perfect. And it goes around that way, so I've got to make sure it goes the right way around. Otherwise the car won't work. Car no go. on there. Oh wait, this isn't right. Oh, lucky I checked. Check twice, glue once. Right, now just let that dry. Are you gonna fit? Right, I'm just gonna leave that to dry there for a second, see if that does dry. I don't know why it's not. I need to get myself some accelerator. I haven't really ever used any accelerants before. Right, so this is part number 5, or step number 5, so I can call that step number 5, like that. Step number 5. Oh crap. Right, that works. That'd be fan belt arrangement. That can go on there. So what we got now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. 6 parts done. Excellent. All right, now for the exhaust manifolds. See, another part I knew. Right, let's do number 42. Number 42. Now, there is a kind of way of doing. What color are these? E. These would be chrome if they would be chrome, and E is metallic steel. So I might want to look into painting them as. Do you know how when metal heats up, it kind of goes a bright kind of rainbow colors? I kind of want to look into how to paint that. So I might want to try and emulate that as if the car has just been like run. That would be pretty cool. No, I don't need that no more. I need another sticker. So I'm going to have to watch some tutorials and see if I can see if I can find out how they do that. Because that would be awesome if you like open the hood and see the like rainbow coloured steel of the manifolds. That would look so cool. Right, another one. Right, next manifold. Where are you, son of a bitch? Right, here you are. Oh, look, some flashing on there. Let's get rid of that. File that down. That's going to be that way, so it's not too much of a problem. I keep putting the things close to me because I'm so used to putting things close to my chest when I'm working on that you forget you're not seeing it. Right, and this is number 43. Right, excuse me.
So now we have a whole full set of parts here now, ready to be primed up. Right, let's put that to one side and get another piece of foam out, and we continue on. Right, we need part 17. And these are coloured all sorts of different colours, B and C. Silky black, silver metallic. What colour is the floor pan? Grey. Right, so I'm going to need to just this is just going to be a piece as it is. And this is obviously the rear suspension arrangement. Oh, looks like it. Oh my god, I feel like James May. Oh, rear suspension arrangement. Shut up. Nerd. Right. I do love James May though. He makes me laugh. He's so knowledgeable, but you know, also so human, because he like screws up so often, but that's what happens. You screw up like a lot when you're doing stuff. He just doesn't hide it. I watch a lot of YouTube videos on how to do stuff, or just makers making stuff, and it's just they just go for it. It's just like, but you realise that that's all cut, and that all the bits where they screw up are just cut off. You don't see that. But right. Following streams, you actually get to see when mistakes are made. That's why I like Adam Savage. He doesn't hide his mistakes. He's like, oh, I screwed up, and here's how I'm going to fix it. I respect that kind of attitude a lot more than someone who produces stuff that's perfect all the time and say, oh yeah, I didn't make a single mistake. Well, I'm just checking for flashing or mold lines, anything that needs filing down, but no, seems to be good. Yeah, so like as I was saying, I think that making mistakes and learning what you've done wrong and how to overcome those mistakes actually are much better than saying that you didn't make any mistakes. Oh, who was that? Oh, hey, Notch Black. Am I missing an eyebrow? Thanks so much for the follow. I really appreciate that. That helps the channel to grow. Talking of Adam Savage, and he just pops up with a missing eyebrow. Right, so this is the exhaust, twin exhaust. Look at that. That's going to be awesome. Yeah, pretty sweet. So that's a second part on there. Now I might just reduce the number of parts on this section here on this foam, because this is quite a large part. So I don't want to be able to have to touch parts when I'm painting them, because I don't want to, you know, smudge them or, you know, get them dirty or anything. So I like to have nice, easy access to the parts. I'm like, that's a bit, that's a bit, that's a bit. Oh yeah, I love model kit making. I've made aeroplanes and I made all sorts. If you want to check out my blog, it should be just type in explanation mark model and it will show you all the things I've built. I'm no expert, but I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it.
And yeah, I do like a good Mustang. I've got two actually. I've got this one, and I've got a GT4, which is going to come later on. But what was I doing? Oh, the rear suspension arrangement. Oh, that's a front suspension arrangement I was talking about earlier. See, even I don't know that. Right, where is... Am I missing a part? Yeah, just check out my blog over there. See what I've done before. I just finished doing a Mini. I do all sorts of things, but as we all know, they take a while to do. And I think I may have... Is this more than one part? $14. This is what am I doing? Right in front of my eyeballs. There we are. Yeah, GT4 will be next build. That's cool. I've got I've been doing cars for a long time at the moment. I've been doing them for over a year now. I've got an F40, a Nissan Skyline, Porsche 911 1988 version. I made my dad a Land Rover fire truck for his 60th birthday because he loves Land Rovers, and that he was pleased as punch when he got that. That's on that's in pride of place in a lounge on the front, in the window in a lounge. So yeah, I love that. Then I made my Mini. That took a little while because I screwed it up. So after the Mustang, oh nice. Oh, you build a replica of your '89 Mustang notchback. Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, you are a Mustang fan then, aren't you? Then you must know what the H means at the end of this, the 350 GT H. Nice. Yeah, I do like a Mustang. Pony car. But after I've done this Mustang, I'm going to move on a little bit. Going to give cars a rest for a while, because I'm working on a model Arthur Morgan's horse, and Arthur Morgan from Red Dead 2, and I've also got an Apollo 5 rocket, a huge one, which I want to try and do. So we're going to take a break from cars for a bit after this Mustang is done, and then get back to them, because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up there to do still. I have to restrain myself from buying any more models. So I'm like, you've got 6 up there. What you do? You've got 7, including the blooming space rocket. Right. No, this is not the bits I'm looking for. Those are gear shifts. That's not what I'm after. I'm after suspension parts. 15 and 16 I'm looking for. Don't tell me they're on here as well. No, oh, is this them? No, that's 20. Where's 15 and 16 then? They're not springs. They're not chrome. No, have I messed this up? Have I lost them? Let's see. Oh, is this them? 15 and 16. Oh Christ, I was looking for it. You know how you imagine a part, you see it on the page, and it's in your head, so you're looking for it, but it doesn't quite look like what it does on the page, so it doesn't look like what it does in your head, and you just miss it. Right, so this is part 15. Okay. So how long have you been
Model making then, Notchback.
Ah, now I see why your name's Notchback. What was this? This was part number. What was this? Oh no. 15. Okay. Just got to flatten this part off. That'll do. Right. No, you little bastard. There you go. That's how you stick to that. And I have to twist you around a little bit before you dry off completely. There we go. Now this is going to be a gamble really, because I really should fit this after I fit the suspension arrangement to the underside of the chassis. So what we do is we'll leave that one as it is, and then we'll do the other one as a separate entity, and we'll see which one gets better results. And I'm pretty much guessing it's going to be the one that I leave as a separate entity, but I don't want to make any assumptions. I may have found a new technique, but I doubt it. Right, so this is part number 14. There's another large part. Oh no, I can fix it onto there because that's where the wheel goes. Right. Okay. Perfect. So now I need to get the next part, which is part 16, which is here. And just, I could just cut that off at the end here. Like so. Just file that down. Okay. Right, so that's part number 16. So we write a little 16 on here. Okay, good. Right. Now, the chassis. Now I'm just looking for a point where I could easily fix a clamp to. It's not here because that's the edge. Oh, that's... So I might fix it to the front here. Oh no, I don't want to do that either. Okay, so I have an idea then. Bit of flashing. Okay. Well, that is not smooth at all. I need to smooth this down a bit more. Alright, so what we're going to do here in order to be able to clamp it was we're going to find a non-intrusive spot, which I think is just going to be right there on the flat. It's going to be perfect. File down a bit of the sprue so it's nice and flat. Stick it in some glue and just boop. Like so. Now that is part number 13. It's part number 13. Right, let's just give that a moment to dry, because I want that to be dry in order to be able to stand that up on its own piece of foam. Yep. There we go, and that's going on its own piece of foam because it's quite large. There's no need to crowd these foam pieces with parts because you're only going to end up knocking them or whatever, so I've got loads of foam. Alright, so that's that, and that. Okay. Okay. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a bit more. We're going to move on here to the interior. Now the interior I like to do separate pieces when I'm painting them. So we're looking for part number 4, which is here. Yep. Okay, so now I just need to check. I've got some nobules on the end of this here. Now I'm wondering if that is where it fits into the cockpit. Yeah, it is. So I don't need to paint those, so I can use those as the clamping point. Now it's part number 4. I'm running out of little sticks with clamps on. Clamps! Right, there we go. Right, now that's another piece of foam full of parts, ready for priming. That could go over there. Right, now I've got one more piece of foam and then I'll have to get some more out of the box. Oh, I had a sip of coffee, I think. Okay. Number 94, that's a chrome, I'm sure. Where are you? 94. That is right, number 94. What's that? Oh, no, it's not chrome because it receives paint. Well spotted, everyone. Right. Oh, I see what this is. This is extra dashboard gauge. Right, so this is a tiny part, so it won't be able to have a part to an area to clamp onto. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this out as it is, or try to. There we go, and then just put a clamp straight onto it. Now, the sprue connects right to the bottom, which is fine because that's where there's going to be no paint. And that is... oh, it needs more stickers. More stickers. And that's number 94. Maybe Notch should be able to tell us what part that is, what actual gauge that is. Probably something like a turbo gauge or pressure gauge or something like that right on top of the dashboard there. I don't know, but it looks... let's have a look. Was this? That's 3, 4, 5, 6. It's probably a rev counter. Maybe a rev counter, something like that. Well, that gauge goes up there. Right, and now we're on to part number 93, which is the other gauges. Gauge cluster. And that is also painted, so it's not chrome. Nope. 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 Are you kidding me? You get that sinking feeling when you can't find a part and you're like, have I lost it, or has it just been forgotten, or is it missing, or what's going on? Hi? Where are you? Oh no, it might be chrome because it's... yes, there she is. There she is. Because only the interior was painted. Right. Okay, so... file this one down. Wow, this is going to be fun to paint. The inside of that needs to be painted, but the chrome dials don't. Chrome surrounds, the dials don't. Ooh, fun! Ah, it's very detailed to be able to not paint that. Right, that's not a problem. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to need to stick something on the back of it to allow me to clamp. So here we go. Now we file down. Some glue on it. And boop. That'll do. Right, and that is part number 93. Done. Right. Now I need part number 12. Oh, we're kicking along now. Part number 12. Right. Part number 12, where are you? Oh, part number 12. Ah, here we are. This should be it. Yep, this is the part of the steering column. It's got a bit of sprue on the other side, which is fine. I'm going to leave that on there. It means I can clamp to it. Right, that's part number 12. Running out of clamping sticks, I'm going to have to dig out some of the other ones. So it's going to give me a minute. There we go. Right, now for the steering wheel. Part number 7. Now I wonder what that looks like. Is it round? Oh look, there it is. I found it. Oh, it has got a clampy bit on the back. Nice. Great. Just file off the little parts that's connected to the sprue. Now, this is the last stick I've got in that pack, so I'm going to have to get some more out, and that's part number 7. I mean, I don't know why I bother labeling up the steering wheel, because I think I know what a steering wheel looks like. Is that the steering wheel? Is that, how many steering wheels does a car have? Right, so I'm going to have a look for some more clampy sticks, and I need to work out how I'm going to store my clampy sticks in future, because this is not the best way of doing this. I've decided all my clampy sticks go in this big drawer here with all my painting equipment, and they just end up getting lost. So what I'm probably going to do is order a box or something off of Amazon. Ow! See, and then I poke myself in it. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but it's all good. Just those are skewers sticking at me. There's a few more. Probably won't need that many. Right. Discord is going off. I'm streaming, guys. Nothing I can do. Right, okay, we're back again. So parts number 9 and 10. What are those bits? Ah, rear parcel shelf. Is that right? Rear parcel shelf? Or rear seats? They're painted. What colour is J? A cross between black silky matte and grey silky matte. Okay. Let's make that then. That should be easy enough to do. Oh, I see. It's the head of the seat and the... Alright, okay, got it. Bit of flash in there I need to get rid of. Now this may actually be able to be glued straight into the cabin. I may not have to do this part separately. I believe it's painted the same colours as the cabin. And is the parcel shelf. So that goes that way round. And now this is the back of the seats. So right, so let's have a look how this works. So that fits. Oh, I see, it fits into there like that. Okay. Okay, might pour out some more glue. Right. And that should just slot in there like so. And it does. Now, if that is indeed the back of the seats, let me see how it goes in. Do I need to paint underneath it? That's the thing. And here is the cabin area. This is going to get another part all to itself, I believe. Another bit of foam all to itself. That'll do. Alright. So let's have a look here. Right, so that goes in that way. Ah, yeah. You can indeed see through that area, so I want to paint that all in one go. Is that painted D? Nope, it's all painted the same colour. Well, that's a bit strange. Alright, so what I'm going to do then, can I clamp onto that? I can. Perfect. That's part number 11, so I'm going to call that part number 11. Alright. It's not part number 11, it's step 11. That's just step 11. Alright, now here is, now what else can I put in there? Nothing. Everything needs to be painted accordingly. Okay, so another bit of plastic. Okay. Right, now to get some more foam. Okay, how long have we been going for? An hour and 41 minutes, that's not too bad. Right, where is all my foam gone? Ah, foam is in Oasis foam, bottom shelf. Oh, come out, you bastards. Right, get back in there. That is... I don't think I need to label that up. I think that is pretty obvious what that part is. Ew. Oh. Right. So that's going to get its own bit of foam, just like that. Just like the chassis did. Right. Now for the little parts that go in the car. More of a puff. So 1, 2, there's like 3 parts, so I can do that. Right, I need to find part number 8, which is, oh, that'll be the gear stick. Or a shifter, depending on whereabouts in the world you're from. Alright. That's also got its own little section to hold on to. Ah, no, I don't need to do that. Can I clamp it onto... Yep, I can. So we can get rid of this bit too. Pull him. Right. bit more filing. I wonder if I could get rid of those lines in here. Those mold lines. Yep, that works. Yep, right, so this is... God. This is part number 8. Yep, right, now 18 and 18. Now they're not chrome, I don't think, are they? No, I don't think they are. Well, they shouldn't be, at least. Ah, here they are. Right, they don't look as though they want to. Right, we'll just do this. Spray them up as they are. They are obviously the little ashtrays. So they're part 18. Yeah, just spray those up as they go, as they are. That's another section full, I believe. I don't think we're going to move on to the chairs now, the interior seats. So that's that. Right. So here we go. Right, 6 and 65. 6 and 65 is these two. Is that flashing or is that piping? It looks as though it could be piping around the seat. Just to come off a little bit there, smoother. Yeah. Right. So this just sort of fits. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to do that. Oh.
Okay, good. Smooth this off again. Right, so this is number 13. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick a bit onto the base of that so that we can clamp it. Clamps. I like the clamps. And we're going to name this piece number 13. Right, next chair. Okay, that's cut out. Now let's just file that down. Good. Okay. The last seat back. There we go. Oh, don't stick my fingers to it. I need those fingers. Right, good. Okay, right, now we'll stick a bit on the bottom of that chair so we can clamps. A bit more glue out, I think. Okay, oh, haven't quite got enough stickers. So, and this is step 14. Cheers. Great. Another one done. Okay, well what it's saying we need now is the wheels and the bodywork. So generally, as a rule of thumb, I stop setting things up when we hit the need to use the bodywork, because the bodywork is a whole big palaver and separate section for me to deal with. So I like to make sure I got the chassis done and the interior done, and then I move on to the bodywork. So we're going to leave it there, leave that there anyway, and we're going to put the rest of the parts back in the box. That's all the setup we're going to need to do for now. Just so that I don't have too many parts out is the main reason for that, really. It's a nice stopping point to turn around and say, right, I've got enough parts out, I've got enough parts ready to paint, I've got enough parts to stick together, we can stop here. And it also means that the chassis and interior can be done and dusted. So it's a nice kind of round off place to end the setup, the pre-paint. Otherwise, I'll have hundreds and thousands of these little sticks all over the place, and I'm more likely to lose something. Which is always annoying. Right, so let me just tidy up my work area here. So I'll give you a view of the... There we go, there's a view. Oh, my jeans falling down again. Sit down too long, your jeans fall off. Okay. Oh, I don't want to do what I done last time and lose the wheels. Right, so I guess there's a hole in the bottom of that. God, what's going on? I'm all clumsy today. Right, now that goes under the table. Out the way, nice and safe. And everything has got to go back in its rightful place, otherwise when I come to want to use it again, I won't know where the hell it's gone. I'll be like, what the hell? What the hell? bin. I need to get myself a better belt, honestly. Okay. Right, we're not done yet. Not done yet. What is the time? How long have we go? We're going for 2 hours. Alright, so I think we can probably spray this lot up. To be fair, we can probably give that a go today. Let's get the resin down here. Okay, let's get it out of the way. Right, so I'll try and put on a. Well, I'm gonna have to sit down and have a BRB while I go and get myself a cup of coffee. But as you can see here, let me put it onto the paint prep. It's a Creamy. Hello, Creamy. We have got all of these parts here, all laid out, all ready to spray. How you doing, Creamy? It's good to see you. So let's just have a little paint set up. Okay. So we've got it's so many parts we can't see them all on the camera here. So we've got all of these. All of these parts all sort of set up here, ready to go. Yeah, camera's glitching on that one. Look at all those teeny bits. I know, I've been sat here for a couple of hours setting them up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run off, grab myself a cup of coffee, have a cigarette, and then we'll get to spraying them. So I will be right back.
I'm muted, am I? Thank you very much. I didn't check. I really need to check. I didn't bring my microphone down all the way. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for also what you just did in there in chat. So thanks. My moderator hard at work. Yeah, so I need a little bit of a break now. That was a lot of work to piece all those out. Fades back into the shadows. Fade away. Shade away. Yes, so what was I going to say? I need to we're going to spray all those parts up with just basic Tamiya surface primer, which is this stuff. It's good for acrylic Tamiya paints, which is all I use on the interior and the chassis anyway, mostly. So we're going to use that, and then we're going to just leave it to dry. That's basically it. The actual bodywork itself I'll come to do later on, and now that needs a lot more prep. It's got better primer, better paint. It's actually lacquer paint I use for the bodywork, so that's going to take a little bit of prep to make sure it's all good. Hopefully I don't screw it up like I did the Mini. The Mini turned out alright in the end, but I still wasn't happy. So the bodywork's going to wait till later. We're going to work on the interior and the chassis. That's my thing. But I do need a break. I do need a break for a minute. So has Creamy come back, or has she disappeared into the shadows with Wolf as well? So I don't know if there's anything you want to know. We could have a little bit of a question time or a chat time. Tip's coffee cup. All right, here's my coffee cup. My coffee cup's got a picture of a hurricane on it. Undoubtedly the plane that won us the Battle of Britain. Cheers! That's not what we say though, is it? Here's to swimming with bow-legged women. Oh, excuse. So yeah, that's quite a lot. Look at all these little bits, Creamy. These little bits must look even bigger. See, this camera is way better. It zooms in. It focuses much better. So I've got one of those cameras coming to go over my desk. So that's another 80 quid I've spent. Yeah, I bet all those little bits look a lot bigger than they on your TV than they do. But I just need to check something here, because where is no, I'm having a bit of a problem with stream elements on this page. For some reason it doesn't want to show the chatting elements for stream elements, so I'm going to have to sort that out. Oh, it's the damage report, is it? Alright, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Don't worry, guys. We're going to get back to spraying. So, oh, I can show you what I got in the way of paints. Where are you? So what we're going to do is the actual bodywork is going to be painted in this. It's gloss black. I've got loads of it. And that's coming from me, Creamy. That's coming from me. See? We're gonna apply this, which is zero paints gloss black, as you can see there. And I've got another one of these, like it's nearly empty, but I've got another one of these. And as much in the same way as I painted the Porsche, we're going to paint it in gloss black first, and then the Porsche was painted in carbon grey, which graphite grey, which was beautiful paint. I then got this from Zero Paints. It is, can the camera see that? It was gorgeous, yeah. This is black metallic paint from Zero Paints. It's under the Toyota. It's a Toyota GR Supra black metallic paint, but it's black metallic. It's the only black metallic I could find on it. Oh, the camera won't pick it up, will it? All right, okay, let's have a look. Oh, there we go. Oh, yep, there we go. Zero Paints, black metallic. But it's the Toyota GTR Supra black metallic. But that's fine. Black metallic is black metallic, I guess. And it's the only black metallic I could find on there. So what we're going to do with the bodywork is we're going to prime it with Zero Paints primer. Give it a nice coat of gloss black, so it's nice and black. And then we're going to finish it up by going over it with metallic black. And that will hopefully just give it a nice sheen. And then of course the diamond finish, the three-part diamond finish, 2-pack clear coat system, again from Zero Paints. 2-pack clear coat diamond system finish. And I've also got, I refilled my polishing compounds. I got some polishing cloths, and I haven't even looked at this yet. Let me show you what it is first. It's a wax polish. Oh, that's nice and purple. Look at that. Oh, it smells like a car wash. So we got a nice painting product from Modelers, Zero Paints wax polish. So I'm going to hopefully this will come out even better than the other cars. Hopefully. So yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. So that the bodywork just takes as long, if not longer, than it does to do all of the rest. But if you do make cars and you want a nice finish on it, definitely use something like this, a diamond coat finishing system. I know there is someone here that does car modeling, and I don't know if he uses this, but just show you this. It comes in three bottles. You've got the actual clear coat bottle. Then you have the hardener. Now this makes sure it dries rock solid. And then you have the 2-pack thinner, which allows you to spray it through the airbrush. Once it's sprayed and hardened, which takes about 24-48 hours, you can sand it down, make it nice and smooth, so you can use all sorts of grades of paint, sandpaper to get it down nice and smooth. Makes me look like a huffer. Like a paint huffer, yeah. I do have lots of paints, lots of different kinds of paints as well. Model paints, car paints, lacquer paints, acrylic paints, all sorts of paints, depending on what I'm doing. But yeah, you sand it down so it's nice and smooth. And you think, why the hell did I put this stuff on it if I'm sanding it down? All I need is plastic bags. And then you polish it up. And hopefully, with that polishing compound, and then hopefully, once you've waxed it, it turns out a beautiful colour. A nice mirror shine. That's the plan. Fingers crossed. Now if you go to the links on my blog page by typing in either !model to get to the blog page itself, or !links, and that will take you to the links page. That will show you generally where I get all of my bits and pieces from. And somewhere in there should be, I think it's Hero Boy. Hero Boy does zero paints, but it'll say in the description there. I've put in the descriptions what the delivery terms are, whether they... Yeah, 6 people today, I know, sweet. Whether they deliver outside of the UK, what sort of, if I can find out their delivery terms, what sort of specialists they are. So just take a look at that, and I'll sort of give a little bit of a review of the websites that I use. Of course, Amazon's not on there because everybody uses Amazon. If you can't find what you're looking for on the pages I've given you, it's probably on Amazon. So yeah. And to clean out my airbrush, this arrived today. Now this stuff is amazing, absolutely amazing. It cuts through everything. Lacquer paints, that diamond coat when it's hardened, it cuts through it. It's great stuff. And that's from I forget the name of them now, but again, they're on my links and it'll show you where they get them from. So yeah, that's good stuff. I was running out of Mr. Tool, Mr. Hobby, Mr. Tool, from Specialist Paints. Good stuff. Be careful with it though if you are going to use it with your airbrush. Some of the parts of the airbrush have got rubber grommets in them. Make sure you take the rubber grommets out before you soak any part of the airbrush in that stuff, because that stuff will eat the rubber, but it'll eat the paint like it's acid or some shit. It's just crazy. It's really good for cleaning out your airbrush. I use white spirits if I'm just cleaning out acrylic paints. That's not a problem, you can use that. But anything other than acrylics, get yourself some Mr. Tool 400. It comes in that size or that size. So good stuff. I don't know if I would clean out your pipes with it, because you're breathing in, you're breathing through your pipes, and that stuff really isn't that nice to breathe in. So probably I wouldn't recommend that for that. Unless of course you give it a really good rinse through. Make sure you dry. Don't just, and it's flammable too, so you can get it on Amazon. I've seen it on Amazon, so you can get it. I don't know, Creamy. I don't know. I don't want to recommend it for that, but there's no harm in trying. As long as you rinse it out properly and there's no smell of it in the pipes anymore, you should be fine. But it's nasty stuff. Really is nasty stuff. It'll clean out your paintbrushes as well. Oh god, yeah, it cleans out your paintbrushes. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good. Right, okay, so we're going to get on to spraying these parts. Right, first of all, I need some gloves. No, definitely don't drink it. I tell you what, I was soaking a part of my airbrush in it, and I then, because I like to blow through them to make sure that the airflow is working, and I blew through it, just touched it on my lips, and it burnt and tasted foul. I had to run off and spit because it was gross. So definitely, it's nasty stuff, but incredibly good for a cleaner. Okay, so we've got my Darth Vader mask and me gloves. So I'm going to put my mask on, and I'll be right back.
Right, I probably sound a little bit muffled, but I understand you can still hear me, which is good. Right, put the glasses on. Alright, these work. That'll do. I can see. Now this is just acrylic paint. I should let that sound once. Yeah, I don't know how bad it sounds for you. People are a bit, are you in the toilet? I might actually just do that one day. Tell Pete I'm on a submarine yet. Gin. Right. Now this is just, like I say, this is just acrylic paint. But it does have extremely flammable liquid and vapours. So you want to be careful. Will that stop? Oh my god. I'll tell you a funny story. When we had our first lockdown and everyone was starting to wear masks and stuff, my helper came over to do the shopping, but it was someone I hadn't seen before. And she knocked on the door, and I was in the middle of spraying up the car. So I had all this on. I'll show you. Just going. Well, I have to turn the camera back on. So I had all this on. I had my goggles, my glasses, my mask, not my headphones, but my gloves and everything. So I was spraying, and it was just when we had the first lockdown. And she knocked on the door, and I opened the door looking like this, and she was like, "What?" I was like, "Don't worry, I'm spraying paint." I actually thought that guy's taking this extremely seriously. Maybe I should go out to the supermarket dressed like this one day. Just sort of walk up to the supermarket without my mask on. They say, "Sorry, you can't come in, you need a mask." I'll be like, "Oh, I'll be right back." And they just go, "Is that better?" Anyway, right. Let's go to the paint booth. Now, hopefully, this doesn't fuck up. The paint booth likes to fuck up every once in a while, but I'll keep my eye on the camera if I can. Right. Good. No muck-ups. Yeah, we're trying, Creamy. Good. I actually might even run out of primer, to be honest. I'll have to put that on my list. I think this is my last can. I can't remember. It's going to annoy the guy upstairs who doesn't like the smell. Oh well. Right, be careful here because maybe that was a bit too much on that one. Fingers crossed it doesn't. Right, that's one block done. Good, good. Yep, we're still going good here. Right, now these fumes do dissipate pretty quick, but it is recommended that you should do this in an overly ventilated area, but my lungs are already shot, so I just don't want to get high as I'm doing this. There we go. Starting to run out. Oh, yeah, maybe I should totally come into SL like this on Wednesday, Preemie. Like, oh. Hold on. I did see that. I did see that. That made me laugh. Alright, go for your life. Go for your life. Enjoy. Right. Alright, let's go on a bit more here. Yep, the camera's still working, that's good. That's a good thing. Now, if I'm painting with that lacquer paint I showed you all earlier, I will have the doors and windows open in this place and a fan blowing, because that stuff will really get in your lungs. Everything gets opened wide, and a fan, which I set to suck the air out of this area and blow it straight outside, because yeah, you don't want to be around that stuff too much. That could be evil. Right. Right, so this stuff isn't too bad. It's just acrylic paint. But it's best not to be breathing it in as you're doing it, because aerosols do have chemicals in them which are nasty. It's alright if you're just doing a couple of bits, you know, but the amount I'm doing here is like, yeah, putting a mask on. Okay, now for the bigger pieces.
Right, the underside doesn't really need to be done because there's no paint on the underside. Or is there? Actually, I'm going to paint it black. So it's not highly detailed, but I can still do with a coat of paint. Primer is key. Is it taking? Oh yeah. Right. Yep, we're out of that then. That's the end of that. Let me just check to see if I got some more. Whew. Right, I don't know if I got any more. I do not. Okay, so what have I got now? Cameo red, cameo black. Well, that'd be easy. I can spray the bottom of the car with that. Right. So I have to put on more primer on my list. On my list. Okay. Let's just give the air a minute or two to clear. And I'll write down on here I need primer. So I've got a list of paints here, as you saw at the beginning of the stream. Right, I think it should be alright. Alright, be right back.
Okay, test. Yeah, that works. Ah. Where's just chatting us for in it? Oh, the camera doesn't. Oh, thanks, camera. Okay, so yeah, it's still a bit stinky in here, but it's not too bad. It dissipates quite quickly. It's not too bad. So let me just have a look at this. It's actually not too bad. You have a nice coat on that. Yeah, seems to have come out quite well. That's good. So that's all those parts primed up. So they are going to go on my top shelf. So if you want to see me do that, I said. There we go. Alright, so these go all the way up here, out of the way. Just carefully. Wait, what is that? Oh, it's a bit of tissue. I obviously put that up there for keep something dry. And the last one. Perfect. Right. Brilliant. Now let's put my gloves and my mask away. My goggles. Always pays to have safety equipment on hand.
gloves in there. Oh, let's put my paints away after I finish showing you those. Right. I think that's pretty much it. Back to this one. Camera's wonky. Alright, so that's been a pretty good afternoon's work, that's for sure. 2 hours and 40 minutes. Not too bad at all. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to head back into my computer room and order up some more paints and maybe some scale wire for engines to you know, like from the distributor cap to the spark plugs and stuff. You can get specialist scale wiring. So I'm going to try and find myself some of that. That would be pretty cool if I can work out how to use that. Yeah, that's about it. If you fancy dropping me a follow, I do a fair amount on my model bench. You can check out what I've done in my on my blog. I'm not an expert, I'm just a hobbyist. If you want to come and watch me fuck up and screw up and have a laugh when I do mess up and whatever, which I do on a regular basis, then please follow me. I'd really greatly appreciate that. Yeah, and I just have fun. Some days are a bit less exciting than others. Like the first part of today was just pulling a load of stuff off the sprue. But then that's a lot of what model making is, just quiet, reflective, like small, relaxing work. If that's what you want to see me do, then by all means drop me a follow. I'd be really appreciative. Yeah, so check out my blog if you want to see what I do, what other stuff I do. I also play games on this channel too, time to time. I'm going to be playing a bit more Dragon Age 2 later on once I've sorted myself out here. So if that's something else you like, then by all means, check me out when I do that. But I think that's it for today. Thank you very much for everybody for coming. I'm going to order up these paints and everything, and then hopefully next time we can actually get to start to paint some of these little parts that we've got, put them all together and start building the interior and the chassis of my Mustang. So yeah, I think that's it from me today. Thanks very much. Have a great day. Bye.